Pharaoh Senusret III, the warrior king who reshaped Egypt's destiny. In the annals of ancient Egypt, there are few figures as formidable and influential as Pharaoh Senusret III. This ruler, who reigned from approximately 1878 to 1839 before the Common Era, during the height of the 12th dynasty, was not just a king but a visionary, a warrior, and a reformer. His reign marked a turning point in Egyptian history, characterized by military campaigns, profound administrative changes, and an enduring legacy that would influence the course of Egyptian civilization for centuries to come. Journey with me into the world of Senusret III, a pharaoh whose life and achievements continue to captivate and inspire. The dawn of Senusret III reign. Inheriting a kingdom at its peak. Senusret III, also known as Senusret III or Sesostris III, was born into a dynasty that was already powerful and prosperous. His father, Pharaoh Senusret II, had laid the groundwork for Egypt's internal stability through his agricultural reforms and infrastructural projects, particularly in the Fayum region. As the heir to the throne, Senusret III was well prepared to lead, having been trained in the arts of war, diplomacy, and governance from a young age. When Senusret III ascended to the throne, Egypt was at a crossroads. The kingdom was strong, but threats loomed on its borders, particularly from the Nubians to the south. Internally, the power of local nobles had grown significantly, challenging the authority of the central government. Senusret III's reign would be defined by his efforts to address these challenges head-on, reshaping Egypt's political and military landscape in the process. The warrior pharaoh, campaigns and conquests. Senusret III's reign is perhaps most famously marked by his military campaigns, particularly those against Nubia, a region located to the south of Egypt. Nubia was rich in resources, especially gold, and had long been a vital region for Egypt's economy. However, Nubian kingdoms posed a significant threat to Egypt's southern border, and previous pharaohs had struggled to maintain control over the region. Senusret III, a formidable military leader, launched a series of aggressive campaigns to secure Egypt's dominance over Nubia. He is said to have personally led his armies into battle, a rarity for Egyptian pharaohs, who often delegated military duties to generals. His campaigns were swift and brutal, crushing Nubian resistance and expanding Egypt's southern border to the area around the Second Cataract of the Nile. To solidify his control over Nubia, Senusret III ordered the construction of a series of massive fortresses along the Nile. These fortresses, such as those at Semna and Buhan, were not only military outposts but also served as administrative centers, ensuring that the pharaoh's authority was felt throughout the region. These fortresses were equipped with barracks, temples, granaries, and other facilities necessary to sustain a permanent military presence. Senusret III's campaigns in Nubia were so successful that they effectively ended Nubian resistance for generations. The pharaoh even went so far as to erect a stele at Semna, inscribed with a warning to the Nubians that any attempt to cross the border into Egypt would be met with swift and decisive retribution. This stele, known as the Semna Stela, stands as a testament to Senusret III's military prowess and his determination to protect Egypt's southern frontier. Beyond Nubia, Senusret III's military campaigns extended to the Levant, where he sought to secure Egypt's influence over trade routes and strategic territories. While these campaigns were not as extensive as those in Nubia, they nonetheless demonstrated the pharaoh's commitment to safeguarding Egypt's interests on multiple fronts. The Reformer King, centralizing power and reshaping the government. While Senusret III's military campaigns are perhaps the most well-known aspect of his reign, his domestic reforms were equally significant in shaping the future of Egypt. One of the central challenges that Senusret III faced was the growing power of regional nobles, who had amassed significant wealth and influence over the centuries. This decentralization of power threatened the stability of the kingdom, as local governors often acted with autonomy, challenging the authority of the pharaoh. To address this issue, Senusret III implemented a series of sweeping administrative reforms designed to centralize power and strengthen the role of the monarchy. He reduced the power of the regional nomarchs, provincial governors, by dividing Egypt into smaller administrative units and appointing loyal officials directly from the royal court to oversee these regions. This move effectively diminished the influence of the nomarchs, ensuring that their loyalty remained with the pharaoh rather than their local interests. Senusret III also restructured the bureaucracy, creating a more efficient and streamlined government. He appointed a new class of officials, known as overseers, who were responsible for overseeing various aspects of the administration, from taxation to legal matters. These overseers reported directly to the pharaoh, further consolidating central authority. One of the most significant aspects of Senusret III reforms was his emphasis on meritocracy. Unlike previous rulers who had often appointed officials based on lineage or favoritism, Senusret III selected his administrators based on their abilities and loyalty to the state. This shift not only improved the efficiency of the government, but also helped to create a more stable and cohesive administration. The pharaoh's reforms extended to the legal system as well. Senusret III is credited with codifying laws and ensuring that justice was administered fairly throughout the kingdom. His legal reforms helped to create a sense of order and predictability, which contributed to the overall stability of Egypt during his reign. The architect of monuments, building a legacy in stone. Senusret III was not just a warrior and a reformer. He was also a builder. His reign saw the construction of numerous monuments, temples, and other architectural projects that reflected his vision of a unified and powerful Egypt. These structures were not only symbols of the pharaoh's might, but also served practical purposes, from religious worship to military defense. One of the most significant architectural achievements of Senusret III's reign was his pyramid complex at Dashur. Unlike the earlier pyramids of the Old Kingdom, which were massive and imposing, Senusret III pyramid was more modest in size but reflected advancements in construction techniques. The pyramid was built using a core of mud brick covered with a casing of limestone, a design that allowed for a quicker and more efficient construction process. Surrounding the pyramid was a complex of temples, chapels, and smaller pyramids, including those built for the pharaoh's queens. The entire complex was designed to serve as both a royal tomb and a center of religious worship, where rituals would be performed to ensure the pharaoh's safe passage to the afterlife. In addition to his pyramid at Dashur, Senusret III also commissioned the construction of several temples dedicated to the gods, including the Temple of Montu at Todd and the Temple of Ammonius at Karnak. These temples were not only places of worship, but also centers of economic and administrative activity, reflecting the close connection between religion and governance in ancient Egypt. Senusret III's architectural legacy extended beyond Egypt's borders as well. In Nubia, he ordered the construction of fortresses and temples that served both as symbols of Egyptian dominance and as centers of administration and commerce. These structures, built from the stones of the Nubian quarries, stood as a testament to the pharaoh's ability to project power across vast distances. The cult of Senusret III, a pharaoh revered as a god. Senusret III's impact on Egypt was so profound that he was revered as a god both during his lifetime and after his death. This deification was not uncommon in ancient Egypt, where pharaohs were often seen as living gods, but Senusret III's cult was particularly widespread and enduring. The pharaoh was worshipped as a god in several regions of Egypt, particularly in Nubia, where his military campaigns and fortresses had left a lasting impression on the local population. Temples were dedicated to him, and his image was often depicted alongside those of traditional Egyptian gods, such as Ammonius and Horus. This veneration of Senusret III as a god reflected not only his military and administrative achievements, but also his perceived role as a protector and benefactor of the people. The cult of Senusret III continued long after his death, with later pharaohs invoking his name and legacy to legitimize their own rule. This reverence for Senusret III is evident in the texts and inscriptions left by these rulers, who sought to associate themselves with his strength, wisdom, and divine favor. Anecdotes and speculations. The personal side of Senusret III. While much of what we know about Senusret III comes from official records and monumental inscriptions, there are also anecdotes and speculations that offer a glimpse into the personal side of this enigmatic pharaoh. These stories, though not always verifiable, add depth to our understanding of Senusret III as both a ruler and a human being. One such anecdote involves Senusret III's relationship with his soldiers. It is said that the pharaoh, despite his lofty status, was deeply respected and even beloved by his troops. Unlike some of his predecessors, who remained distant from their military forces, Senusret III was known to personally lead his men into battle, sharing in their hardships and victories. This close relationship with his soldiers may have contributed to the effectiveness of his military campaigns, as his troops were motivated by a sense of loyalty and admiration for their king. Another story suggests that Senusret III was a deeply introspective and contemplative individual who often sought solace in the quietude of the desert. It is speculated that the Pharaoh would retreat to secluded areas, far from the bustle of the royal court, to meditate and reflect on the challenges of rulership. These solitary journeys into the wilderness may have been a way for Senusret III to connect with the divine and seek guidance for the difficult decisions he faced as a ruler. There are also speculations about Senusret III's personal life, particularly his relationships with his family. Some historians suggest that the pharaoh had a particularly close bond with his daughter, Princess Miret, who was buried in a richly adorned tomb near her father's pyramid at Dashur. The inclusion of lavish jewelry and personal items in her tomb suggests that she was a beloved and cherished member of the royal family. The enduring legacy of Senusret III, a pharaoh for the ages. As we reach the conclusion of this exploration into the life and reign of Senusret III, it is clear that his legacy is one of immense and lasting significance. His military campaigns reshaped the borders of Egypt, securing the kingdom's dominance over Nubia and safeguarding its interests in the Levant. His administrative reforms centralized power and created a more efficient and stable government, setting the stage for Egypt's continued prosperity. Senusret III's architectural achievements, from his pyramid complex at Dashur to the fortresses of Nubia, stand as enduring symbols of his vision and strength. These monuments, built to last for eternity, continue to inspire awe and admiration in those who visit them today. But perhaps most importantly, Senusret III's legacy is one of leadership and wisdom. He was a pharaoh who understood that true power comes not from brute force alone, but from the ability to govern wisely, to inspire loyalty, and to leave a lasting impact on the world. His reign serves as a testament to the enduring power of vision and determination, qualities that continue to resonate across the ages. Conclusion: Senusret III, the pharaoh who redefined greatness. Pharaoh Senusret III, the warrior king of the 12th dynasty, was a ruler who redefined what it meant to be great. His reign, marked by military conquests, administrative reforms, and monumental achievements, was a turning point in the history of ancient Egypt. Through his leadership, Senusret III not only secured Egypt's borders and centralized its government, but also left a legacy that would be revered and remembered for millennia. As we reflect on the life and achievements of Senusret III, we are reminded of the qualities that made him a truly remarkable leader: his strength, his wisdom, and his unwavering commitment to the prosperity and stability of his kingdom. In a world that was often chaotic and uncertain, Senusret III provided a steady hand, guiding Egypt through a period of unprecedented growth and success. The story of Senusret III is one of vision and determination, of a pharaoh who understood the importance of both strength and wisdom in ruling a kingdom. It is a story that continues to inspire and captivate, reminding us that true greatness is not measured by the monuments we build, but by the legacy we leave behind.